May I come in? Thank you. Thank you.
So, Shubham, you say Sanjay or you say Shubham?
My name is Shubham. My father's name is Sanjay. Yes.
Both S.
Yes.
S sponsor, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, where are you living in Delhi?
In Delhi, currently, I am living in a nearby hotel. But after a few days, Maharashtra government has done our accommodation facility at Maharashtra Southern.
Oh, that's nice. That southern is nice.
Yes. Yes.
And food is also very nice.
Yes, ma'am.
So, they should have done it earlier also. I mean,
Yes. Yes. Every year they do.
they do every year. But
Yes.
this time it took more time to settle in Maharashtra Bhavan.
They are providing accommodation facility only for 7 days. So if it exceeds 7 days, you have to.
So, if you stay for more, they have a problem.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Naturally, a lot of politicians, administrators come. So you are an engineer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you've done your engineering from Mumbai.
Mumbai.
Now you want to enter the civil service.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you tried for any engineering, Indian engineering service?
No, ma'am.
You haven't tried. You are not interested.
No, ma'am.
Why?
Ma'am, I had done engineering as a backup option, means.
Okay.
And my main aim was to do something which satisfy myself.
Okay.
In 4 years, I realized that corporate, I'm not that of corporate material. So
Okay. So now you feel you are better civil service material, is it?
yes,
So what is so great about the civil services? What motivates you?
ma'am. In civil services, there is a balance between job satisfaction as well as the career growth.
Okay.
So both of these drives me there.
So you feel you have a better career in civil service.
Yes, ma'am.
How about interference, political interference and punishments? Everything is there. It's not a cup of cake.
Yes, ma'am.
Not just cake, other things also.
Yes, ma'am. There are these difficulties in every jobs.
Okay.
If you like that in civil service also, this is a part and parcel of the job.
Okay. So have you appeared before?
Yes, ma'am.
How many times?
This is my third attempt.
Third attempt.
Yes.
And did you qualify for the interview? You did.
Last year I gave interview, but I did not make into final list.
You did make it. So what was the marks? Do you know last year's marks on the interview?
In interview, I got 190 marks.
Oh, that's pretty good. Maybe your written did not fetch you the
Yes, yes.
backup, right? So tell me about environmental security. Like we have set up a factory, we have an environment, our labor lives there, our people live there, engineers and all. What is the security they need? The whole setup.
I could not get the question. Means
See,
what
there is a
sense?
factory. You have set up a electronics factory, for example, and you have engineers working, you have labor, you have the ladies, and all types of people are working for you in that segment. You are also one of them. What is the security that the environment should give your factory to perform better? Right? Have you got it now?
Ma'am, I'm confused that I'm assuming that in terms of environmental security or overall security.
No, environmental. You are making some electronic goods. You are making computers. You are making various things in your factory. You are the owner. So what will you provide as a facility, as a security for your whole staff? You have a lot of staff.
There are few priorities which should we firstly focus on.
Yeah.
First one is their living facilities.
Okay.
Second is their education and health facility for their whole families. Third is any insurance facility for them in case of any emergencies. Fourth, we can have we can more focus on their skill development, so that it can benefit them as well, and as a company it will increase the human capital of the company.
How will their skill development improve the environment generally? Because you are making all these goods, no? Is there any pollution issue, or is there any other issue, or just developing, upscaling their skill?
Yes, ma'am. We should focus on both. Means we should focus on their skill development as well as the growth of company. But along with that, we should also focus on the environmental uh, means to decrease the environmental degradation, and that should be like we said, any corporate should be based on 3 P's. One is profit, second is planet, and third is people. So
yeah, so recently, when China was having problems with Omicron and other things, so we were short of chips, computer chips.
yes.
So how did we manage? Oh, we are still suffering. I'm talking of India and your factory also, no? And China used to make these chips very cheap.
Yes, ma'am. In this regard, government of India has initiated one new program recently. The electronics minister, Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav has made a new policy to make India a superconductor power, superpower. So they are providing a scheme like production linked incentives for the semiconductor industries in India as well.
So people will produce the chips.
Yes, ma'am.
That's how your factory will get it. Eh?
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise you are stuck. You can't produce anything.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think. Right, so please.
So do we have any electrical vehicle policy? Are you aware of any electrical vehicle policy?
Yes, sir. There is I can recollect two schemes. One is the FAME policy and second is electrical mobility mission. So these are the two broad policies which I can recollect at this moment.
Okay, suggest salient features of these policies.
In electric mobility missions, the main goal is to have around 30% of vehicles running on the road. That should be the electrical vehicles. And in the FAME policy, we are providing incentives for the industries to develop more electrical vehicles.
So can you tell about the challenges which India is going to face
in electrical vehicles?
Yeah.
First one is the first problem is about the regarding the lithium ion batteries. We are heavily dependent on China for that. Second is our charging infrastructure is very low. Currently we are having only around 1800 charging stations compared to around 75,000 petrol pumps in all over the India. Third is the we are more focusing on the supply side, and we are less focusing on the demand side. Means the price of electrical vehicle in market is much higher than the normal petrol diesel vehicle. So consumer is avoiding that due to the price mechanism as well. So these are the major challenges for the EV sector.
So have you heard of Sensex or Nifty?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so tell me, it is said that Sensex or Nifty depicts the picture of Indian economy. How far do you agree with this statement?
Sir, I'm not fully agree with this statement because 90% of our industries are in informal sector.
Good.
And Sensex and Nifty reflects only few top corporates in our country.
Okay, so brief me about other major macroeconomic indicators of present Indian economy.
Currently, we are in a stage of recovery after the pandemic. So we are doing well on the side of exports. We have recently crossed the 400 billion marks. We have good forex reserves around 600 billion. Our growth rate is projected around recently the day before yesterday only RBI projected our growth rate as 7.2%. Our inflation is under control unlike our neighboring countries. So these are the broad few indicators which I can make at this moment.
Okay, and can you comment about the stance which was taken by the Monetary Policy Committee recently?
Sir, Monetary Policy Committee has continued its stance of being accommodative, but it has indicated that in future there may be changes in this stance.
Why?
Considering the recent geopolitical scenarios, there is high inflation all over the world. So to control inflation, we may change our stance.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Shubham, you are from Latur.
Yes, sir.
Latur had a massive earthquake, devastating earthquake in 1993. How things have changed after that in terms of making it more resilient to earthquakes, not only in Latur or in Maharashtra in general? Is there any change in the strategy?
Yes, sir, there has been a big change.
Mhm.
The earthquake which you are talking about, my village was the epicenter of that earthquake, Killari.
Okay.
So after that, there has been a major rehabilitation work. We have the government has constructed around 52 villages in that region, as well as government has established one CRPF unit along with the seismological station in Latur. And fourth, about the earthquake, in overall the any disaster, government has taken steps that it is unique for Maharashtra. There is a war room beside the Chief Minister office. So these are the major changes which has been taken in rehabilitation process.
Right. Now tell me, which sector of Indian economy proved to be the most resilient to COVID-19?
Sir,
Yeah, please.
sir, it is agriculture sector which has proved very resilient in the pandemic.
So, what was the in economic survey? What was the finding with regard to agriculture? How much growth it registered in last year?
So, as far as I remember, in report, it was there that nearly 3.4% growth was.
What could be the reason for that? When the entire economy was suffering, how agriculture could stand out in that green zone?
There are multiple reasons. First one is that agriculture is isolated from rest of the supply chains. Means it works as a input side, so it is less dependent on the other materials like raw material as well. Most of the farmers use the raw seeds as in sowing season. They are less dependent on the imported seeds. And third one is we can in many sectors we have seen the halt, but since agriculture is directly linked to our food sector, so there has been a continuity in the agriculture sector.
Okay. Now this 2+2 dialogue is happening today. I think it will be sometime today. What is this about? It is between any idea?
Sir, 2+2 dialogue is a meeting between the Defense Minister and External Affairs Minister. It is a bilateral mechanism. Currently, we are having this mechanism with Australia, Japan, Russia, and United States.
Russia also.
Russia also.
Okay.
This last year only the first summit was held, and today we are having this meeting with United States.
United States. So, any agenda which has been set for this today's meeting?
As according to media reports, the main agenda would be the handling of the pandemic economic recovery. Second is the stability and prosperity in Indo-Pacific, and third is the Russia-Ukraine crisis.
Okay. Now, Shubham, you have mentioned in your hobbies that you volunteer in that HIV Happy Indian Village. So, can you tell us a little in detail?
Sir, Happy Indian Village is a NGO in which I am working through its inception. It is actually the child rehabilitation project. Currently, we are having 85 children who are suffering from the HIV, and my job there is to think and experiment some innovative solutions for the success of the project.
Now, HIV used to be a major public health concern, I think in 2-3 decades back, which fortunately has declined. Please correct me if I am wrong. What could be the reasons for that?
So first one is the awareness campaign regarding the contraceptions. Second is the we have in last 2 decades we have regulated, means we have tackled most of the drug use in the youth, which used to be the major reason for the spread of HIV. And
So
third,
you mean to say drug use is on decline?
yes,
Drug
sir.
abuse, you mean to say?
Abuse.
Okay, okay.
Thank you, sir. And
Okay, fine. Thank you. Sir.
Shubham, Latur falls in Marathwada.
yes, sir.
So tell me, what are the economic features of Marathwada zone region?
Currently, sir, if we see the economic economic scenario of whole Maharashtra, then only 10% of industries are located in Marathwada region. But I feel that Marathwada has much greater potential in terms of industries. For instance, Marathwada can be a game changer in agro-business sector. For example, the Latur area, which I belong to, there are 1/3 of the soybean is produced in that region of whole Maharashtra. But out of that, only 14% is processed and 86% is goes unprocessed. But if we, very few people know that 1 kilo of soybean produces around 8 to 9 liter of milk. So if we use the cooperative sectors of the Marathwada region, we can make a Amul like model in Marathwada as well. So I feel that it is underachieved its potential, Marathwada region.
So since you mentioned about cooperative, you may have read that the national government is contemplating on making a cooperative policy. Now, whatever policy it makes, will it be applicable to the state of Maharashtra and for that matter, all the cooperatives which are registered at the state level?
Yes, sir. This policy can act as a guiding light for all the cooperatives all over the India, and it can provide a uniform vision or goal, or it will also provide to bring a uniformity in all over the cooperative sector of all India.
So you mentioned about Amul, the success story, reason of success story of Amul. Just give me 2, 3, 4 points. What impressed you most? Since you gave the example of Amul and you said we should emulate Amul in Marathwada. What is it? Which are the strong points, strengths of Amul?
Sir, I feel there are two major reasons. First one is the technology upgradation in Amul, and second is the competitive nature of Amul. For instance, they have products for both the both means for richer section as well. For instance, they have chocolates of cost around 100 rupees, and also they have some means people who belong to the poverty line. For instance, they provide milk packet at reasonable rates. So they have maintained the competitiveness with the private sector along with the technology upgradation.
There's one more point, Shubham, which is I think more important than even price competitiveness. Okay, doesn't matter. I'll tell you in the feedback session. Now, thirdly, power sector reforms happened way back. Now, what do you think? How power sector has become independent compared to what it was before unbundling happened? You've understood my point?
No, sir.
Okay. What are the positive aspects of power sector reforms which happened in India? By unbundling the state electricity board. You had Maharashtra State Electricity Board.
Yes,
what do you have now?
MSCB, Maharashtra State Electricity Board. Maharashtra State Electricity
You
Board.
don't have any more?
We have some private discoms, but they are limited to urban areas like Mumbai.
Okay. So why this? This is a result of the reforms. The electricity boards have been wound up, finished.
Sorry, sir.
No, if you have no idea. You heard of Central Electricity Regulatory Commission?
Yes, sir, I have heard of.
What does it do?
Pardon, sir?
What are the functions of CERC?
Sir, as per my limited understanding, it regulates the tariff of electricity all over the India.
But electricity is a state subject.
Sorry, sir.
So what is SERC? State Electricity Regulatory Commission. What does SERC do?
I'm not aware of that.
Doesn't
Sorry, sir.
Corruption in public services. Do you think over the last 20-30 years it has come down or it has gone up or it is the same?
I think, sir, it has come down.
Okay. Now, what major reasons? What are the initiatives? You know, the legal initiatives, the big decisions, or the technology. How this corruption has, these factors have played role in bringing down the corruption. Can you give few examples?
First of all, sir, digitization has played very important role. For instance, the DBT. Second, I would say the digitization has also given voice to the normal citizens. For instance, they can have the video of officer who demands bribe and it goes viral. Then there is a pressure mechanism on officer as well. Third is on legal side, we have the Right to Information Act, through which we can identify the corruption. Fourth, recently we have Lokpal mechanism. In coming years, I hope that it will show its result. And fourth one is the last one is the involvement of citizen in the administration process through various mechanisms. For instance, the My Government app or other activities which has increased the accountability of public officer.
Has social media also played a role in bringing down the corruption?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Thank you, Shubham.